Today we're going to be making Gioia's hot salami pizza. This is going to start with a third cup of semolina flour, a third cup of bread flour, and a third cup of all-purpose flour. Next we're going to add in a teaspoon of raw sugar, followed by a quarter of a teaspoon of rapid rise or instant yeast. Struggle to put the lid on your food processor and then give this a blend for about 2 seconds just to get everything combined. With the processor on, we're going to add about 2/3 a cup of ice water and give that a blend until the dough no longer sticks to the side of the bowl, or about 10 seconds. Next we're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and about a tablespoon of olive oil. Give this a blend for about 30 seconds or until you end up with one large piece of dough. Next we're going to place the dough onto an oiled countertop and knead for about 1 minute. This is a cold fermented pizza dough recipe, so we're going to leave this in the fridge anywhere from 1 to 3 days, with 1 being the minimum and 3 being the maximum. Next we're going to make our sauce, which is going to be 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 cloves of garlic, which we're going to crush straight into the sauce, and then we're going to add a teaspoon each of dried oregano, dried basil, salt, and pepper. Next we'll add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil, followed by a teaspoon of red wine vinegar. Next we're going to add about a teaspoon of anchovy paste just to amp up the flavor a bit. As long as you don't add too much, it won't make the sauce taste fishy. Next we're going to add, you guessed it, red hot riplet seasoning. Sugar in the seasoning is going to help caramelize our tomato sauce a bit, as well as giving it a bit of a kick. Give it a whisk and let that cook on medium heat for about 30 minutes. You'll know your sauce is done when you can dip a spoon into the sauce and part the Red Sea like you're Moses. Now we're going to lubricate a 16-inch aluminum pizza pan with some olive oil and begin to stretch our dough, which has been sitting out on the counter for about an hour to get up to room temperature. Don't skip this step, otherwise the dough is going to want to fight with you and it's not going to retain the shape you want. Here I'm shaping the dough into a disc before placing it onto the pan and stretching it out. If the dough starts to feel too springy, just take a break for about 10 or 15 minutes so the gluten can relax. Also, if you're like me and you get a little air bubble, just go ahead and pop it and twist it up. That way you don't have a hole in your pizza. Next we're going to add our sauce and spread it out all over the pizza, trying to get as close to the edge as possible. You're not going to use the whole can of sauce for this pizza, but it's nice to have a little bit left over for dipping the smaller pieces into. Next we're going to add our Provel cheese, just add as much as you like, no measurements here, followed by some cold Gioia's hot salami. Next we'll add some sliced pepperoncinis, a little bit more Provel, and some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. Then place it in a 500-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Once the cooking time is over, place on a wire rack to cool, that way you maintain your crispy crust, and enjoy.